Cool. Hi, Bea. Amazing.
Hello.
So we are here for positive stories for negative times with Sandy and Bea Webster, the writer of Is This a Fairy Tale? And Bea, is amazing to be with you today, and we're just going to talk about your play, basically. So we'll start with, what is the play about?
Well, that is a very good question. So yes, it is a fairy tale. However, it's not a traditional fairy tale. For me, traditional fairy tales are always, there's always a common story. What's the word? There's a lot of stereotypes that are used, which, I just don't know. To be honest, I'm really fed up of that. I don't feel that they're relatable. And that's why I decided to come up with a fairy tale that is completely different from the norm, and actually is a reflection of modern society. And hopefully, actually, it will resonate with a lot more people, because there's queer people in it, there's people who've experienced depression, and it's about tearing down the patriarchy, and about misogyny and all sorts of things. So there's so many things in there. There's gender identity in there too. So there's so many elements in there that are really, really relevant to today's society.
Yes, amazing. You talked a wee bit there about why you wrote it. And I wonder, specifically, why did you write this play for young people? Why was this the audience?
I think just reflecting upon my own experience. So going back to primary school, for example, the stories that I would read, the stories that were read out, they were never really kind of, I don't know, they weren't relatable for me. They didn't resonate with myself. Teacher would say to me, you have to read a romantic book. There's a girl and a boy, and this is the traditional story. But actually, I'm not feminine in that sense, and I didn't want to read romantic stories. I wanted to read things about gaming and things like that. And school really didn't teach me what was quite important in terms of the different topics. So, depression, and gender, and boys have got to do this, girls have got to do that, segregating us based on your biological gender. I just think, well, actually, I disagree with that. So I think all of these different topics and these themes are really important to have that conversation with young people. I just think it's so important, and not just for young people, I think adults generally. I don't feel like we're taught those topics and to talk about those themes, and mental health is still stigmatized as well. And I just think actually in the theatre industry, we're a lot better, but actually there's still a stigma attached to mental health issues and all of these issues that I've mentioned. So I thought, actually, I'd like to demonstrate to young people that you are allowed to feel different. You are allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel depressed. You're allowed to feel that, the society doesn't quite recognise who you are, and there's a patriarchy, that you're allowed to look at these issues and really talk about how you feel. And what I would like to do, really what I wanted to do, is write a play that I would have liked to have read when I was younger. And that's why I created it, essentially.
Yes, yeah, that's brilliant. I think that's brilliantly articulated, and that clarity, and also just that passion for the subject matter comes through in the play as well. And already we're hearing back from young people that they are responding to it exactly as you're talking about it there. I think it's fantastic. Okay, well, our final question is kind of, who's your play for? Who is This a Fairy Tale for?
Everybody. Anybody and everybody, I would say. I aimed the play to be suitable for children of 8 years old and over, but actually I think it's anybody that kind of loves overacting, especially, really hamming it up. I think that's great. And I really love watching that myself. And I think if it's done really well, that's fantastic. It's so much fun. But also I think, for example, there's a character in there that is a knight. And for me, I just think that, that can be brilliantly acted out, because, you know, there's toxic masculinity, there's patriarchy, you know, in the world. And I think that, you know, I never really identified as that character, but actually that's quite nice to see the knight, but flipped around the other way. So I think that's quite good. And I just think it's for everybody, and particularly anyone who likes to overact. I think it would be brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, totally. It's so fun, the play. That is brilliant fun for anyone that takes it on. And like you say, I think what it's dealing with is universal, even though we've said it's for plus, but it is for everyone. That's amazing. So thank you so much, Bea, for chatting about Is This a Fairy Tale? And the plays, all 5 of the plays for Positive Stories, are available to buy now on the METHUN website, on the Wonderfools website, wonderfools.org/store. And if you'd like to find out more about Bea's brilliant play and all the other plays and participating groups, you can go on positivestories.scot to find out more. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Bea, and thank you, Sandy.
Thank you very much.